So I mentioned in my last video that there's been a bill introduced in the Maine state legislature for ranked choice voting. I had the opportunity to sit down with the author of that bill, Representative Diane Russell, Democrat from Maine's 120th district. And so here's that interview.
Do you want me to say who I am, or?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Diane Russell. I'm the state representative for District 120, which is beautiful downtown Portland and Munjoy Hill. Ranked voting, in a lot of cases, people feel like they are throwing away their vote when they vote for the candidate that they truly prefer. And with ranked voting, also known as instant runoff voting, you're actually able to vote for your first candidate, and if that candidate doesn't win, you vote for your second candidate, and your third candidate, and your fourth candidate all the way down to the bottom. And it allows a broader array of candidates to be able to participate in the process and create a marketplace of ideas. It does that without fracturing the vote, allowing people to actually vote their conscience and vote for the person they truly want to vote for without throwing that entire election away to someone that they truly disagree with. There have been countless instances where someone will get elected with a plurality, a small portion of the vote, and it turns out that more people voted against that person than actually voted for. And that person's ideas that did not resonate with the vast majority of the community that voted, that person's ideas are the ones that carry forward, even if the vast majority of people categorically disagree with that person's vision for where that community should go. But there are some other pieces to it as well. What we've seen is that in places that have ranked voting or instant runoff voting, that there has been a significant reduction in mudslinging. When you throw mud at someone, at a candidate that someone's really passionate about, it's really hard for them to then turn around and want to support you. But if you have been very fair and rational and been focused on the issues and talking about a positive vision for your community, chances are they may put you second. People start talking about, or candidates start talking about issues as opposed to personality differences. And right now we're in a situation where third parties get demonized because they're the spoiler vote. Well, why would they be demonized when they're bringing a different perspective? The more people are interested in a candidate, the more they're going to get engaged in the process overall, and the more they're going to listen. I think it's important that we bring different perspectives. Whether it's a party or an independent candidate, we want to make sure that all perspectives are brought to the table so that we can make a better informed decision about what direction our community needs to go in the future. Our state is better when we have a marketplace of ideas. Our state is better when we make sure that people are actually discussing not just the bad things that are going on, but the good things and how we can all work together. This year I started, This year I introduced a bill, LD 1126, that would allow for ranked voting to be used for the governor's race. So at some point in the near future, a public hearing will be scheduled for LD 1126. It has not been scheduled, but when it is, we need people to show up to the State House, to stand there at the public hearing and talk about why they feel that ranked voting would help move our democracy and our state forward. Let them know that you want your voice heard, you want your voice taken seriously, and you want to be able to vote for the candidate you want to vote for. That you don't want to have to fear throwing your vote away. One of the other things that's very, very easy to do is to send a letter to the editor. I know it sounds trite, but it really makes a difference. The most read page of any paper, is the letters to the editor. And they are highly scoured by legislators and elected officials. And we need a preponderance of people weighing in and saying it is time that we have a democracy that represents the entire electorate. Even if you're unable to make it to the State House, you can still pick up the phone or send an email to your legislator. When we know which committee this is going to, you're also going to want to reach out to the members of that committee and let them know individually why you support it. Making sure that those individual committee members understand that the vast majority of people are weighing in support of this really makes a difference. And that committee vote comes back to the full legislature, and we review as legislators what that committee vote was. And we take that committee vote very, very seriously. It's not to say that you can't win on the floor even though you've lost in the committee, but it makes it so much harder. Reach out to the committee members. You know what? Pick up the phone and call them. We get emails all the time. We don't necessarily get as many phone calls and say, you know what, I know that I'm not in your district, but you are on a committee that is overseeing a bill that I care deeply about. And do you have a minute to chat? But you also need to meet with your legislators. You have both a state representative and a state senator. And both of those legislators have an opportunity to weigh in their respective houses. And not only do you want them to vote for the bill, you really want them to champion the bill. But if enough legislators hear from their constituents that this is really important to them, those people are going to be moved to not just vote for the bill, but to then potentially champion it. So there are a lot of places and a lot of points where you can get engaged in the process, but really it's going to come down to citizens weighing in with their legislators, citizens calling their friends and asking their friends to weigh in with their legislators. And if you haven't done it before, I've been there, it's intimidating, it's hard to pick up the phone and say, oh, I have this idea. Legislators are so ridiculously accessible in this state. A lot of times you can pick up the phone and it will be their cell phone. So if you call me, I pick up the phone and it's me. And that's pretty characteristic of all the legislators in the State House. So it is well worth picking up the phone. It is well worth sending an email, because your voice really does have a major impact in this state, because we're a small state and we're super accessible to our communities. So reach out, take that step. It may seem small, it may seem trivial, but I will tell you it makes a big, big difference.